Uitgebreek. Die baas het oor hom gery. Toe koop ek 'n nuwe besem. En ek sien die vredestoffer het ook gebreek. Sien daai ding. Ja, nee, wanneer is Saterdag die begrafnis?
Ja. Dan gaan we wat een opstaan.
Vandag.
Ja, dan.
Hallo Emma,
Hello,
how are you doing?
normal.
I'm glad to hear that. Are you still enjoying your holiday?
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear. And what have you been up to? What have you done this holiday that you've enjoyed the most?
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you keep yourself busy with? You can't watch video games all day. So what do you do in
Like,
the day?
play video games, watch TV.
Play video games.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Remember it was only today that we had our early class again. On Thursday, we can be back to 11 o'clock.
Mm.
Do you want to do Thursday 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock?
11.
11, okay, because I have a doctor's appointment after this, so that's why we had to do today's at 10 o'clock. Okay, remember last time we spoke about the social media and all the advantages and disadvantages. We've gone through 3 of the disadvantages about the bad things about social media. We said people get addicted and they waste time. We also said about the health problems, people that compare them, especially young children, that compare themselves to others, and it causes a lot of stress and anxiety and feelings of not being good enough. Okay, and then we did do, I can't remember, did we do cyberbullying or is this where we need to continue?
We do this.
Did we do cyberbullying?
Yeah.
People that leave horrible comments on other people's posts or say things that hurt people. And just as good news spreads very fast on social media, so does bad news or bad comments, unfortunately, also spread very fast. Okay, and we must realize that we still hurt people even if it's through a screen, even if there's a screen in between you and whoever you're saying something horrible about. We need to realize it's still people behind the screens. Okay, our next one is misinformation and fake news. Will you please read that paragraph for me?
The speed at which information spreads on social media is both a strength and a weakness. Unfortunately, false information often spreads just as quickly as accurate information. Fake news can influence opinion, create unnecessary panic, or share harmful health advice during electoral
Elections.
or
Elections.
public
Carry on.
or public emergencies. Misinformation may have serious consequences for society. Users should
Therefore,
they for verify information without reliably sources before believing or sharing it.
okay, there were a few difficult words in this paragraph, and I'm very proud of you for reading them because this paragraph is actually written in a B2 C1 level. So that is the second highest level of English. Okay, misinformation and fake news. So spreading information that's not true. The speed at which information spreads on social media is both a strength and a weakness. A strength is something good, a weakness is something bad. So it's a good thing that information spreads quickly, but it can also be a harmful thing if wrong information is spread very quickly. Unfortunately, false information often spreads just as quickly as accurate information. False information, things that are not true; accurate information, things that are true and that the facts are correct. So both of them, social media spreads very quickly, regardless if something is right or wrong. Fake news can influence public opinion, create unnecessary panic. Panic is when you are afraid of something or you're scared of something. So they can say, beware, there's going to be a very big storm and it's going to flood and all our houses are going to wash away. So that creates panic because then people start to worry, when in actual fact, the storm is not going to be that big. Okay, it can also spread harmful health advice, especially if we think during COVID, how much advice was spread on social media. And not everything was true. People done a few strange things to try and combat COVID. They said, drink animal medicine, drink this. If you do that, you won't get COVID. So there was a lot of harmful advice doing the rounds on social media. During elections, elections is when you vote for a new government or a new president. So during elections or public emergencies, misinformation may have serious consequences for society. Consequences are the result of a decision. So if you spread something or you make a decision, you have the consequences. If you're not going to study for an exam, the consequence is going to be that you're not going to do very well. If you do study for an exam, you're going to do very well. Okay, users should therefore verify information through reliable sources before believing or sharing it. We can't just believe everything that's on social media because everyone has access to social media and anyone can post anything on social media. So just because it's on the internet, it does not mean that it is true or correct. So to verify something means to check the facts and see, is it really true? So users should therefore verify information, check, are there other sources that say the same information, or is it only one source that's spreading whatever information it is that they want to get out there? Through a reliable source. A reliable source would be like your news agencies, not some or other unknown person that you've never heard of or a company that you've never heard of. So reliable is people that you know you can trust before you just believe anything or share anything. Okay, and then our privacy and security risks. You may read.
Many people share personal information only without fully understanding the potential risk. Photos, location, personal opinions, and financial information can sometimes be accessed by criminals or misused by others. Incidentally, theft, theft, online scams, phishing attacks, and data breaches have become increasingly common. Some users unknowingly share enough personal information for criminals to steal their identity or gain access to private accounts. Using strong passwords enable two-factor authentication and carefully managing privacy settings can significantly improve online security.
Okay, let's go through this. Privacy and security risk. To be private is to not make all your information known on social media or to not share your information with everybody that just wants your information. Many people share personal information online without fully understanding the potential risks. Potential risk, a potential is something that could maybe happen. It doesn't say it's going to happen, but the chances are it could happen. And a risk is something that can turn out very bad. So you take a risk. So people share telephone numbers, identity numbers, home addresses on social media, and they don't realize the consequences of how dangerous it actually is. So there's a potential, something that might happen, risk. Photos, locations, personal opinions, and financial information. Financial information is information about your bank account number, your bank PIN. And a lot of older people fall into the trap. If somebody phones them and says, I'm from the bank, I need to verify something, then they give their information because they think it really is the bank. Okay, photos, locations, personal opinions, and financial information can sometimes be accessed by criminals or misused by others. To access something is you have the ability to go into somebody's profile or to get information from wherever ever they have shared something. Okay, so you have access, you're allowed entry into something. Identity theft. That is when they often clone. Have you heard the term to clone a profile? You know what that is?
Mm.
When I make as if I'm Emma and I take your profile picture and I take your name and I pretend that I am Emma. So I steal your identity. So that's identity theft. Theft is another word for stealing. There are online scams, phishing attacks. Phishing attacks are usually when they take your personal information like bank information and they get access to your bank account. And data breaches have become increasingly common. Some users unknowingly share enough personal information for criminals to steal their identities or to gain access to private accounts. So people share these things without thinking further than their noses, and they share things because they believe in the good of people, but they're sharing it and it lands in the wrong hands, and then it becomes very dangerous. Okay, so we need to use strong passwords. That's why they've changed the criteria for passwords. You have to use a symbol, you have to use uppercase and lowercase, and you have to use a number. Most passwords are like that today to make passwords stronger so that people can't just guess them. So to use your date of birth or your birthday is not very clever when choosing a password. So we mustn't use something that people can easily guess. Using strong passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, and carefully managing privacy settings can significantly improve your online security. What it basically says is be careful with what you post on social media. Okay, number 6.
Reduce face-to-face communication. It allows social media connects people online and may reduce meaningful face-to-face communication. Some individuals spend more time interacting without screens than speaking directly with family members or friends. Personal conversation allow people to observe facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice, which are important part of effective communication.
Communication.
Excessive reliance on online communication may weaken their social skills over time. Maintaining a healthy balance between online and offline relationship is essential for emotional well-being.
Okay. Face-to-face communication. Because we are on social media so much time of the day and we send text messages and voice notes, we have learned to not communicate with people face to face. If you have to tell me, if you want to contact someone, do you phone them and speak to them, or do you send a text message?
Text message.
Exactly. And then they send you a text message back and you send, and that's the way that communication happens today. Very few people, and especially young people, don't like speaking to people on the phone. They would rather send a text message. But have you ever been in a situation where somebody sends you a text message and you read it in the wrong tone of voice? Tone of voice is when I'm angry with you, I am going to speak like this, and I'm going to say, Emma, why have you done this? I am very angry. But if I'm not angry and I speak softly and I say, Emma, why did you do what you did? And explain to me, what were you thinking when you did it? You cannot determine in a text message what tone of voice I am using. And that is where a lot of miscommunication steps in because people read a text message in the wrong tone of voice. And it causes people to be angry at each other, unnecessary. Okay, so although social media connects people online, it makes it easier for us to connect to somebody because you can send a text message and you know they will read it when they have time. Where someone phones you and you can't always answer the phone immediately. Although social media connects people online, it may reduce, may make less meaningful face-to-face communication. People have learned or unlearned how to speak to people in a real conversation. They shy away from it. Some individuals spend more time interacting through screens than speaking directly with family members or friends. Personal conversations allow people to observe facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice, which are important parts of effective communication. As I said, by reading a message, you do not know how did that person actually mean to say what they said. And then we get angry at each other unnecessary. Excessive reliance. Excessive means too much. Reliance means you rely on something. You can't go, you rely on it, you can't do anything without it. So relying too much on online communication may weaken social skills over time. If text messaging is the only way you communicate, you are going to not be able to speak to people face to face. Maintaining a healthy balance between online and offline relationships is essential for emotional well-being. Okay, so we can't just communicate by text messages. We need to sometimes be with our friends and to sit next to each other and to sit outside and to look each other in the eye. We can't just operate by texting each other. Okay, number 7.
Students who
Frequently.
frequently use social media studying may experience reduced concentration and lower academic performance. Constant notifications interrupt attention and make it difficult to focus on complete tasks.
Procrastination.
Procrastination is another common problem. Instead of completing assignments, students may spend hours watching short video or browsing entertainment content. Creating side schedules, turning off notification, and limit screen time during homework can improve concentration and productivity.
Okay. Again, a lot of difficult words. The impact on your academic performance. Students who frequently means a lot of times. Students who frequently use social media while studying may experience reduced concentration. They don't concentrate as well because if you have your phone lying next to you when you're doing homework, you want to check your notifications. You want to see what's happening, and you're not focusing only on your schoolwork like you are supposed to. So if you study, you use students who frequently use social media while studying may experience reduced concentration. They don't concentrate. and lower academic performance because your mind is not only at your schoolwork, it's about what's happening on your cell phone. Constant notifications interrupt attention. Every time the little beep goes, you want to see who sent me a message, what do they have to say? And it makes it difficult to focus on complex tasks, on difficult tasks. Procrastination. Have you ever heard that word?
No.
Okay, procrastination means to put off something. I need to pack right my cupboard, but I don't feel like doing it now. I will do it this afternoon. This afternoon comes, I still don't feel like doing it. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, I don't feel like doing it right now. And you keep on putting something off. You don't do what you're supposed to do. Then you are procrastinating. Procrastination is another common problem. Instead of completing your assignments, students may spend hours watching short videos or browsing entertainment content. You think, okay, I want to just quickly see what is happening on TikTok or on YouTube. I'm going to watch one video. And you go in, and the one video and the next video, and at the end of the day, you see, oh dear, I have spent an hour watching TikTok videos, and I only wanted to watch one because we don't realize how much time we spend on social media. Creating study schedules, so a timetable to say between this time and this time, I'm putting my phone away and I'm only going to concentrate on studying. Creating study schedules, turning off your notifications so that it doesn't bother you throughout the time you're supposed to be doing homework, and limiting screen time during homework can improve your concentration and your productivity. So it makes you more effective in what you're doing. Your attention is not divided. Now I'm doing homework, now I'm quickly checking who said what. Now I'm doing homework, now I'm quickly checking who said what. Okay, our next one. Find it.
Social media itself is neither completely good or completely bad. Its main impact largely depends on how people choose to use it. Responsible users recognize both their benefit and their risk. Several strategies can help individuals use social media wisely. Set daily time limits. Verify information before sharing it. Protect personal information with strong security settings. Avoid comparing yourself with unrealistic online images. Spend regular time with family and friends away from screens. Follow addictionally and inspiring content instead of harmful material.
Last one.
There are regular breaks from social media when necessary. Parents and
Necessary.
teachers
No,
also play
only
an
up until
important
there. Only up until there. Okay. Finding a healthy balance. Social media itself is neither completely good nor completely bad. We need social media. We can't really live without it, but we can't spend so much time on it either. Its impact largely depends on how people choose to use it. So we need to choose to use social media wisely and make the right choices and have balance when we do social media. Responsible users recognize both the benefits, the good things, and the risks, the bad things, the harmful things. So we must know there is good and there is harmful things. Several strategies, several plans can help individuals use social media wisely. So we need to make specific plans and do specific things to make us not spend too much time on social media. Set daily time limits. Tell yourself, I'm only allowed to spend 2 or 3 hours on social media. And then I have to do something else, like read a book or watch a movie or go outside or spend time with friends. Verify information before sharing it. What does verify mean?
like sure it's true.
to see, is it true? Are other
Yeah.
people also saying it? Or can I just accept it because it's on the internet? So we need to verify things before we share it. Protect personal information with strong security settings. We need to have strong passwords. We must try our best so that people cannot access or get into our accounts very easily. And then avoid comparing yourself with unrealistic online images. There will always be the girl that posts how beautiful she is, how beautiful her skin is, how thin she is, how well she's doing. And then we often, and actually, it's not always even really true. And we compare ourselves to those. And then we think, my skin's not as pretty. I'm not as thin. I don't achieve as many results as she does. And then we start feeling bad about ourselves and have feelings of not feeling good enough. So we must avoid that. Spend regular time with family and friends away from screens. We can't just communicate with our friends through screen time. We need to spend face-to-face time with them. We need to go and have a coffee or an ice cream or a walk in the park. We can't just have social media interaction. Follow, and if you want to watch YouTube videos or TikTok, follow educational or inspiring content instead of harmful material. So if you spend your time scrolling through TikTok or YouTube, at least watch something that means something to you, something you can learn, something that broadens your knowledge instead of just watching funny videos all the time. Take regular breaks from social media when necessary. When you feel I am spending too much time on social media, say, over the next 2 days, I'm only allowed to have 1 hour screen time. And by doing that, you will notice, wow, there's actually a real world out there. Okay, our last paragraph.
Social media will continue to allow us.
Parents.
Parents and teachers also play an important role by teaching children digital literacy, online safety, literacy, and responsible internet behavior from an early age.
Okay. Previously, before internet became so big and social media became so big, when I was little, nobody taught me how to use the internet or what are good manners when using the internet. Today, every child from the age of 7 has their own phone and they have access to internet. So parents and teachers have the responsibility to teach children, how do you act on social media? You still need to have manners. You still need to speak properly. This is acceptable, this is not acceptable. So digital literacy, online safety, you don't share information, and responsible internet behavior from an early age. Okay, before we continue, Emma, let's quickly go out of Zoom and re-enter.